been
That's
some
another
targeted
version of
mention.
normality.
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, the growing normality of Africa is the promising theme there. I think this will have to be the last question. We're going to run out of time soon. President Obama will be traveling to Africa in a couple of weeks, and he's not going to be trenching fiber or issuing bonds. He's going to be talking to heads of state and probably trying to effect some sort of changes. What are the good outcomes that could come from his trip? And you touched on this before, Chris, but again, what would be the helpful role the state could play, beyond not stealing all the oil funds? What are some positive things that could happen from Obama's trip and in a more durable way?
Sure. I believe, well, first of all, when President Obama when he travels to Africa, I think that's going to do one thing, and that's shed a light on Africa itself. So, you're going to have a lot of press and people taking a deep look at Africa, where Africa is now, and I think they'll see a much more genuine picture of Africa and have a better view on where Africa is today, because it's definitely changed. Now, the positive things that can come from the trip is also his view on the economy, cross-border trades, and getting that jump started and kick started, I guess, even a little bit better than it has to this point. Like I mentioned, education is a big thing, and I know the president and his wife are really, really strong on education. So I think shining lights on these aspects. So you have cross-border trade, education, and even resources. I think that's going to really shine some good light on Africa, and make people think about Africa as a different continent than they probably do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, he's going for the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. That purpose, in and of itself, the fact that President Obama is going to an entrepreneurial event, a celebration of entrepreneurship, brings attention to what we see as the next Africa. It's not going to just for a state visit. It's to engage entrepreneurs and to kind of highlight the success stories. So that in and of itself is very significant. He's going to Kenya, but he's also going to Ethiopia. He'll become the first sitting U.S. president to visit Ethiopia. And I think Ethiopia, that means a lot for that country, because people forget it's 90 million people. It's also a juggernaut on the continent, and second really only to Nigeria. So that attention to Ethiopia, I think, will bring some additional American interest. And then I will say that while he's not